For the 2023 football season with your Clemson Tigers, there are many players that we can name as offensive X factors, but the tight end position and Jake Briningstool is the one that we should talk about. What is his impact and what is his effects on the offense? We'll tell you next on the Locked On Clemson podcast.
You are Locked On Clemson, your daily podcast on the Clemson Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Clemson family? Welcome back to the Locked On Clemson Podcast, your daily podcast covering your Clemson Tigers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson, always on the ones and twos. You can find and follow me on Twitter at DP_NFL. I'm a national scout over with the Draft Network, as well as part of the co-host team of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. Guys, thank y'all for making Locked On Clemson your first listen today and every day, Monday through Friday. Appreciate y'all for being in the family, but also the every single dayers, man. All the love and support. Just continue to do that, right? We're trying to get this channel on YouTube to 1,000 subscribers. The football season's almost here, right? But we also want to continue to build up the audio side. If you're more of an audio type of person in terms of podcasts, so go subscribe, download, share the audio on the audio side, and leave a 5-star review. And for YouTube, subscribe, like, comment on the videos, but also hit the bell notification so you are notified whenever I drop any content on this channel. And happy Monday to you guys. Let's start the week off right. And like I said, starting the week off right means we're gonna have a good podcast, right? We gotta kick it off with the good energy. We're gonna talk about a former Clemson linebacker who entered the transfer portal, was dismissed from the team, but he's heading to the ACC, heading to Ole Miss. We're going to talk about him, later on this show. And Syracuse's quarterback Garrett Shrader has got some confidence. He's got some confidence. He said it's time to defeat those Clemson Tigers. We're going to talk about those comments and why I don't foresee that happening in 2023 later on. But we're going to kick the show off with offensive X factor Jake Briningstool, tight end for your Clemson Tigers. Is he the true X factor for this offense, man? I'm gonna tell you guys, I think that I think he can be. I think he should be viewed in that light, right? When you look at 6'6", 230 pounds, young man's bulked up, heading into this season. Last year, he finished on the team in terms of receptions and everything. He finished fifth on the team with 25 receptions for 285 yards and 4 touchdowns. But, you listen to Kyle Richardson, right? The assistant head coach, assistant coach, the passing game coordinator, and the tight ends coach, kind of talk about entering his second season at the helm with the tight ends group that your Clemson Tigers have. And, they got some talent there. Sage Ennis, blocked. He's more of a blocking tight end, and everything like that. Didn't catch nothing but 2 passes last year. And getting back, coming off the redshirt year, Josh Sapp, and whatnot. So there's some talent in the room. There's some talent. There's size. Sage Ennis 6'4", 235, and then Josh Sapp, 6'1", 245. So there's a variety of body types in this room. But Garrett, Coach Richardson, Kyle Richardson said that he is, when it comes on the Briningstool and part of Garrett Riley's offense, he's really excited to see this, and he's excited for what this could become. He talks about just, per his quote, per tigernet.com, shout out to them, with the exclusive. He said, I think with him and his skill set, you can get into a bunch of different concepts and not have to change out your personnel based on it being run or pass. He goes on to say it's like having another wide receiver on the field, but he can go in the box and still hold up in the run game and do what he's got to do there. He goes on to say as well, if you're not changing up your tight end a lot and giving away tendencies, defenses can't sit there and go. They're only going to do this. No, the whole playbook is open. That's the big part. The whole playbook is open. He says a big time tendency breaker is what Jake Briningstool will bring to this offense. You're just mixing and matching personnel to get the best personnel against the defense's weaknesses. If that means we need to take the tight end and flex them out more this week, then we can do that and not change our plays or concepts or the quarterback's read. if he needs to be more in the box any given week, then he'll play there and everything like that. So when you think about just that blurb, right, that those quotes, and with Jake Briningstool being 6'6", right, incredible height, 230. He's already added weight and gotten stronger. I think Dabo Swinney talked about that, about him just adding more muscle mass and expanding his frame. Yes, like he is a tendency breaker because guys, when you think about the great think about it from an NFL standpoint. When you have the great tight ends on the field, right, it's very difficult to know how, like, what exactly is coming. When you think about the Rob Gronkowskis, the Tony Gonzalez's, Travis Kelce's, you know that they can run or pass, and it's not a dead giveaway of what's happening, right? And I love the blurb about flexing them out. If you could flex out Jake Briningstool as your big Z receiver or your big X receiver, for one, it's not only is it a tendency breaker, but it is a coverage indicator. So it allows Cade Klubnik to see, okay, is that guy going to move, in terms of man-to-man coverage? And if that linebacker follows, that lets me know it's man. If that safety walks down and covers him out wide, that also lets me know it's man, right? But if my receiver's in the slot and that corner bumps out wide, typically that means it's nickel. I mean, not nickel, it's zone. So if he's if the corner's in the nickel and then he bumps out wide with Briningstool, that's typically an indicator for zone. So, like, for when it gives Cade Klubnik the answers he needs pre-snap. But again, you can flex him out, and especially if it is man, right? Think about I always talk about the numbers game in the box for the run game and in the back end for the pass. So if you motion out, if it's supposed to be a run play, say it's inside zone with Will Shipley, and you motion out Jake Briningstool to your big X, right? And you have Antonio or Cole Turner, whoever was supposed to be the X receiver on that play, kind of reduced down inside as a slot receiver, and say that linebacker travels. Yeah, okay, so now you know it's man, but you can also stick with the play call. So if it's inside zone, run it. Why? Because there's one less guy in the box, right? So instead of having an 8-man or 7-man box, you might have a 6 to 7-man box. So it's a lighter front, which allows your offensive line to double team big defensive tackles and climb up to whoever else is left on the second level, right? So, but then say it's man, but say the linebacker doesn't travel. They just switch responsibilities, and the linebacker has Will Shipley or Phil Maffa if it's a passing play. So they just switch out their man-to-man responsibilities. They communicate. Safety walks down, so you go from two high safety to one, and now you got yourself what we call middle of the field close, right, with one high safety. So now what does that do? That lets if they keep the box defenders in the box, but they lessen who's in the back end. Now Cade can come to the line of scrimmage, make a quick check and call, and take a deep shot because he's going to have one-on-one. And as much, even if when they go to one high with the free safety, a lot of times there's not a ton of free safeties that truly have the range to play single high on the roof in the high post by themselves. So it's like, okay, cool. If I got Cole Turner as the Z and I have Jake Briningstool as the X and then Antonio Williams in the slot and Adam Randall motioned into the slot and different things like that, where if you go into a kind of a 11 personnel, but it looks like 4 wide receivers with Jake Briningstool as the X receiver, you can really manipulate that single high safety. Right, you can throw Antonio Williams up the seam, right? A little pump and go, you know what I mean, and pull that safety. Cade uses his eyes, pull that safety to that hash, come backside, boom, hit the other seam, right? Different. It just gives you so much more creativity, and especially for Garrett Rowdy's offense that is absolutely predicated on tempo and space in this air raid. Man, I'm excited, guys. I'm excited for what Jake Briningstool is going to be able to bring to this team. And like I said, is he a tendency breaker? Yes. Is he a coverage indicator? Yes. Is he going to help you disguise and be even more creative in 2023? 100%. But like I said, you want to see, with Ennis being fully healthy and now Sap progressing as well. You want to see what those young men can bring onto the field, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I want to see Jake Briningstool on the field 90% of the snaps offensively when the game is a game. Now, if the game's out of reach and we're cruising by 25 points, and yeah, you put the young boys in and those young guys, you let them go in and get their reps and get their playing time and get their snaps, right? But at the same time, for me, at the end of the day, it's very simple. Give me Jake Briningstool all over this formation. I think he's the guy that you look at and you say, man, this is a mismatch. I always talk mismatch. You want to find the mismatch, guys. You want to find the mismatch and you want to find it. So you locate it, right? All right. And you exploit it. You locate, attack, and exploit that mismatch. And if 6'6", 230, most linebackers are a mismatch for him. Like he's just a mismatch for them. I'm sorry. And most safeties don't have the frame and size to battle with him at the catch point, and different things of that nature. So can you, let him be the big power forward that can post up him and Adam Randall? And man, this passing offense has me excited. There's enough talent and enough tools, enough players on this team and on this offense that can really, really hurt defenses coming up. But you're talking about, playmakers hurting defenses and everything like that. You know that Clemson has one of the best defenses in the country. But Garrett Shrader, the Syracuse quarterback, has some interesting thoughts. He's confident that this is the year that they can knock off your Clemson Tigers. So why do I not believe that? I'm going to tell you next on the Locked On Clemson podcast. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and or accessories, head over to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game, baby, when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. In no time, guys. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. So get the right parts, the right fit, the right prices at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. ACC quarterback for those Syracuse. I don't even know their whatever their thing is. You know what I'm saying? I always forget their mascot and everything. But Syracuse's quarterback, Garrett Shrader. He made some comments at the ACC kickoff in Charlotte last week. He's talked about the fact that he believes that they can make a play, they can make a run. He believes that they can knock off Clemson. Wishful thinking, in my opinion. And when you look at how things have kind of unfolded, the last 5 years, Clemson's won 5 straight. Even last year when it was really close because DJU didn't play well. K didn't actually play that great either when he came in. But, was able to help Will and the change of the energy and everything and the pace, and still squeaked out a win, 27-21, right, in Clemson. But it looks like they alternate, each year that they play is home, away. So, going back, the last time that Syracuse, that the Orange, that they won was back in 2017. It was a home game. They won 27-24. So 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, they have lost 5 straight. 2019, it was a 41-6 loss. In 2020, it was 47-21. And in the last 2 years, it was closer, right? 17, the 14 loss in 2021, and then 2022, 21, the 27 loss for them. But at the end of the day, for me, is I'm cool with him being confident. I have no problem with you showcasing confidence in your team and in the ability of your team, but understand something, that you are dealing with you're dealing with a team and a defense that's just so difficult to play. And they have NFL players on all 3 levels. The best linebacking duo in college football, and it's not even close. It's nobody's. I don't even know if there's a close second with Garrett, with Barrett and Jeremiah Trotter. So, but to his quote, he said, "I'm confident in the ability and skill that we have in our players, and we can play with anybody in the conference." Per Shrader, there's no doubt. I mean, I truly mean that. That there is not a team that we line up against if we're healthy that we can't beat. We can beat them, and this year, I think it's our year to take them down. He said with a smile. Hopefully, we've got to be ready to play and take them 1 week at a time. And we're excited. Clemson has won 5 in a row, as I said, over those the Orange, the Syracuse, and don't get like I said, they've given them some issues and everything like that. But Shrader going to his third year as a starter. This is a guy that I think it was last year. He was what 18 of 26, 167 yards passing, a touchdown, and an interception in that loss. Even the year before, right? Like he threw a pick in that game, only 191 passing yards on 17 of 37. In that game. So he goes on to say last year that was a game where we kind of started seeing the injuries and things come out. We were fighting to get through that game, Shrader said, and at the end of it, we were just glad to get out of there alive. They've got a great program historically. It'll be fun. If you thought the last 2 were good, I think this one's going to be exciting as well. And they host us on September the 30th, in their dome, the JMA Wireless Dome. And like I said, and I have no problem with confidence, guys. I have no problem at all. But for me, it's very simple. Do I feel like this is the year? No, I'm counting it up. 6 in a row, 6 L's in a row. This is a team for the Clemson Tigers that, like Kate Klubner talked about, that Tennessee game still rests with them. It gets them going. It's kind of extra motivation because they felt like that shouldn't have happened, right? So it was a game that they take personal, and and gave, like you said, grit, toughness, and everything. And when you have such a physical defense on the line of scrimmage on the second level, you can cover. You have 2 of the best safeties in college football and the best safety duo, in my opinion, in college football. But this offense, I think that's where it's different. The difference for me in 2023 is that you got to hope that Cade Klubnik doesn't come out firing in that game on September 30th. Because if Cade and his offense puts up points, Garrett Shrader, there's no shot. There's no chance. And yes, you will have the crowd. You will have the crowd behind you, but that crowd will only be behind you for so long. Because if you go down 14 early, right, and you have multiple 3 and outs, and or you have a turnover, because right now he's thrown a pick in the last 2 contests, right? He's thrown the pick and he's thrown for less than 200 yards. And I don't foresee that changing in 2023. Rook, Ororo, Tyler Davis, right? Xavier Thomas looking like a chiseled Greek god out there. He looks ready to rock and roll. So at the end of the day, Clemson, like I said, I appreciate the confidence from this young man. But Clemson is going to make it 6 in a row versus those Syracuse. This isn't a spoiler alert, guys. Like this isn't a prediction. I'm sorry. This is a spoiler alert. Shout out to my any WWE fans who knows about Paul Heyman. This is not a prediction. It's a spoiler alert. That it's September 30th when the clock strikes 0, that your Clemson Tigers will be victorious and have won 6 in a row over Syracuse. Man, they fight hard. That's a well-coached team, very tough. They can play physical, and they got some players. They got some players as well in terms of NFL talent and everything. But at the same time, I'm expecting Clemson to do their thing. And the X factor for that game is simple: the offense. They come out firing. They can put up their 30 to 30 plus points. I don't think it's going to even be a close contest. I think they run them out of the dome. So, like I said, shout out to the confidence from Garrett Shrader. But I'm picking them Clemson Tigers all day, every day against Syracuse and twice on Sundays. So let's get into coming up next, man. You talking about confidence, the young man that a lot of people had confidence in coming in as a 4-star recruit to your Clemson Tigers, but things just didn't go well. Dabo Swinney talked a little bit about it in his departure, but TJ Dudley heading over to Ole Miss. We're going to talk about him and what happened and what he brings to Ole Miss, I guess. And is it a big loss for your Clemson Tigers? I'll tell you next, coming up on the Locked On Clemson Podcast. Defection in the midst. TJ Dudley hit the transfer portal. He left the team. He was a redshirt freshman linebacker. He committed to Ole Miss late Friday night, this past Friday. And he entered the transfer portal. The news hit back early back in July 19th, but he was per reports with Tigernet.com, I'm sorry, they said that he was already dismissed from the team for undisclosed team rules. And Dabo Swinney touched on it a little bit, at the ACC kickoff, and he said just a disappointing situation because he's a good kid, and man, he had a great chance to be a great player for us this year. Dabo's talking about Dudley, and he said, so that definitely hurts us. It's unfortunate. We've got rules, and sometimes it's just better to get a fresh start. Wish him well. And like I said, he was a redshirt player last year, redshirt freshman. He appeared in 4 games, only 16 defensive snaps and 2 tackles. But the former 4-star recruit was highly viewed, right? A 3-time All-State selection, and the Triple C Defensive Player of the Year at Montgomery Catholic Prep, and and things of that nature. So when you think about what he was potentially going to do, and if you go back to the scouting profile, you think about the guys at one.com have a scouting profile still up, and they talked about him, a strong, productive player at the high school level who projects as a pure inside linebacker, has considerable striking power, and is at his best as a run defender, a work in progress as a space defender, lacks some top end speed, but has a thick, filled out frame. Not the tallest linebacker at under 6'1", but has long arms. And he helped, like I said, as a senior, he's helped that team, his high school team, to win the state title. So at 6'1", 218, former 4-star. It's tough, right? And anytime you lose a talent like that, it's never easy. But you kind of move on. You have to move on, right? And I'm pulling up the Clemson depth chart right now. Just to kind of talk to you guys about like just the depth that is at the linebacker position. Right now he was supposed to be that other inside middle linebacker. Right now on the depth chart for ourlads.com, who have the depth charts kind of sorted right now, nothing is truly official until it's official. But there's only one middle linebacker listed, and that's Jeremiah Trotter Jr., right? So you got, of course, Barrett Carter at weak side, outside linebacker. Then you got redshirt freshman Kobe McLeod, backing him up. You have Wade Woodard's sophomore strong side linebacker. Then you have freshman Khalil Barnes and another freshman Jamal Anderson, right? So you have a redshirt freshman, of 2 freshmen, 2 actual freshmen, looks like a true sophomore, right? And things of that nature. But one of those guys would have to step into the Mike linebacker role, and that's what camp is going to. Which I'm going to talk. On Tuesday we're going to get into some camp, storylines or headlines, that I'm looking forward to, and things I'm watching for camp. And I'm trying to check, get the schedule and try and be at some of the practice that's open to the media and everything. But yeah, that's something that's going to be figured out in camp. Is who's going to be the middle linebacker behind Jeremiah Trotter. So is it a loss, right? He defected to the SEC. Yes, it's a loss. It is, because when you have, because think about it. At the end of the day, injuries happen. Now you don't want anything to happen to Barrett Carter, Jeremiah Trotter at all. But at least for Jeremiah, with Barrett Carter, you still have outside linebackers that you feel comfortable with stepping in, right? Where the inside situation not the best. So that's the biggest thing is what can you expect from the young guys? Can Khalil Barnes step in at middle linebacker? Can Jamal Anderson or can Kobe McLeod step in and be Mike linebacker? Because the reads and trigger timing and everything else is different playing middle linebacker compared to outside, where sometimes you're kind of flanked a little bit more as like the overhang, kind of in between the middle linebacker and the nickel, and things like that. So there's absolute reasons for the team or for fans to be a little concerned about him going over to especially with his run defense being his best trait, just attacking downhill, and things of that nature. Where, hey, what if Jeremiah Trotter just needs a breather, and having TJ Dudley being able to step in, still call plays as the Mike linebacker, being the green dot guy, it would have been nice to have. But at the same time, shout out to him and wish him the best over at Ole Miss. And I think that he's, his A trait is run defense. that's going to fit well for Ole Miss because they're in the SEC, and that's a physical run first type of mentality conference and league. So shout out, like I said, shout out to TJ Dudley, but this does hurt a little bit. But we have some young guys that camp, training camp is going to be big for them. Fall camp, being able to just see who's going to step in. And everything. I might even go back to the spring game and see if any of those guys play any on the inside as well, just to get a better feel for what is to come, which is the inevitable. So, guys, thank y'all for tapping in with me today. Like I said, happy Monday. Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Thank y'all for making Locked On Clemson your first listen today and every day, Monday through Friday, whenever I drop these episodes. Like I always say, for YouTube, go subscribe, comment, like the videos, but also hit the bell notification so you are notified whenever I drop content on the channel. For the audio side, Apple Podcast, Spotify, go subscribe, download, set the automatic downloads, share, leave a 5-star review, guys, and continue to support this podcast. And again, for YouTube as well, we're trying to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Will you be the 1,000 subscriber? Tell a friend to tell a friend that's a Clemson fan to tap in with us, man. We're over 400 right now. Keep the grind going. Keep the support coming, man. But like I said, we're going to get into storylines for fall camp on tomorrow's episode. In terms of Twitter, you know what you can do. You can find and follow me there at DP_NFL. You know what I mean? Come and join the conversation tomorrow. Like I said, talk to me because I talk back. Come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Go Tigers.